The strength of this nation we call the United States of America was built on the tenacity and true grit of a strong military. Take a moment, look at the stars and stripes of the American flag, and never ever forget those who sacrificed their future for your freedom. American Tire and Automotive salutes the United States of America and its military. Their spirit and dedication guarantee our freedoms. God has truly blessed America.
Yeah, you get your starters and your guys back. You know, we always try to look. I have a tendency of always looking a day ahead. What happens when we lose some really good players, and we've recruited very well. I'm very pleased with some of the guys, but we got to continue that. So, you know, Chuck Heater, who's coached a lot of football games, he's one of the few guys that has actually 3 national championships, and he won one at Notre Dame in '88. And he says, you know, he made a comment to me one day. He said, I've never been able to walk into a room before and have, regardless, every start and every backup back. And that's all that goes to the wayside here in a minute when we start practicing. But it is a good feeling to have a lot. The good thing is they're good players and they're good people. There's only one way that I know how to do it, that our staff and the approach we take is make everything really hard. And obviously training camp in itself is very difficult down in the Florida heat. And it's probably, we're trying to make it more difficult than it's ever been, because once we get them, there's really not that issue. It's when they're not with us. That's I don't want to say I'm horrified about that, but because I love our players and I think they are focused. But once we start camp, you know, we're just trying to get to Tuesday afternoon, and they understand that. You know, the best thing about Tim is you put Tim on a very average to below average team, and he's really good. He's not, you know, accomplished what he's accomplished, and you know, you take, for example, the SEC championship game, and Tim would be the first one to tell you that we played obviously a great team, a great environment, but our defense held a very productive offense to 1 yard in that fourth quarter. So how did that help Tebow? That helped Tebow go win that game. If Alabama, when they were ahead, went down and scored against our defense, Tim's not Tim. And probably the best quality that Tim has, he understands that probably more than I do. And he shares that. That's why the chemistry of our team right now is so strong, because great players have a tendency to destroy chemistry. You know, go watch the NFL. Go watch other professional sports. Go watch college sports. I had a team like that one time where the great player destroys it because it's all about him. It's not about that. In our program, it's not about Tim. I know a lot of people make it out to be that way. It's certainly not on the inside. I had to play that game 3 weeks after, I lobbed it out there a little bit, and I'm not sure it sunk in. That was, I think, and I've only had 20 years, and I'm only 4. I think that's number 5 in the SEC for me. That was the most difficult football game that I've ever coached in, that, you know, from watching to being a part of. And I saw our players in that locker room after the game, and it was complete. 2 teams basically had everybody in that field going as hard as they can. How many times can you say that? Because, you know, 2 very good teams. So what was accomplished that day to go play back-to-back number 1s and legitimate number 1s, that was a phenomenal job by our players. And then I had 2 first-rounders sitting on the sideline in the SEC game. You know, you had Cornelius Ingram and Percy Harvin standing right there as the game's going on. So some guys really stepped up.
The adversity that you deal with as a football player and bouncing back and learning how to handle will obviously give you experience to handle those situations better coming on down the road. You know, but hopefully we don't have to deal with exactly the same situation as we had to go through last year. But I'm so excited about my team and how we've grown from that and from last season as far as leadership-wise, chemistry-wise, and caring for each other. I just am really proud of the guys right now.
Your decision to return, how much?
That was a lot of things. You know, we had a long lunch at Bally. It was me, my mom and dad, and Coach Meyer. Sat there for about 6 hours discussing it. And before that, I had talked to NFL coaches and different people and just thought about it. But I really didn't have too much in-depth thought and conversation about it till that day at lunch, and we just talked and, you know, talked about the platform that I had at the University of Florida, the opportunity that I had to minister to a lot of kids around the South and in the U.S. for that matter, and and just what was going on at the University of Florida, how much I loved it, how much I loved being a Gator, and I also wanted to be loyal. And most people would have probably said I've accomplished some things, so I'm going to leave. But I wanted to be different. I wanted to be loyal. I wanted to be loyal to my teammates and let them know that I care more about them than going to try to go the next level and do something else. I wanted to be loyal to Coach Meyer and thank him for everything that he's done for me, and just enjoying my senior year at the University of Florida. And I think something that we talked about a lot with that was, my platform, and what an opportunity I had was in the national championship game, the verses that I wore under my eyes. Within the next 2 days, 94 million people had Googled that. And, when I heard that, you're like, wow, that's, the impact that you have, it's incredible. And, it's truly a blessing. And I wanted to take advantage of that for one more year. I don't get a concern from being number one, because you could say you could get complacent, or you're not going to go out there and work. You're going to just rest on your laurels, or whatnot. Well, I think that could be true any year, because you're the University of Florida. You're going to get hyped. You're going to be talked about and whatnot, and so there's always going to be so-called pressure. But, I think our senior leaders, the older players on our team, the guys who have gone through years and played, I think they want this season more than any other season that we've ever played. And as far as hard work and preparing, we've done that more so this year than any other year I've been at the University of Florida. And, we're not, just resting on our laurels or worrying about being number one or caring about being number one. We're worrying about every day when we step on that field, we're getting better. We're focused on having dedicated effort, and love for each other and passion for the game, not worrying about being number one or what people say, because all we care about is what they say at the end of the year, and that's our focus right now. Well, I think the number one way that you minister to people is through your actions, is by them seeing you and how you act and how you treat people and how you love people. And so, my goal is through that is for my teammates and people in general, is to see that I'm a genuine person, someone who cares about them. If someone needs something, I want to be the first one there. If there's a new sick kid in the hospital, I want to be the first one to visit him. I think they see that and they say, what is it about him that does that? And then I'll have an opportunity to say, that's my relationship with Jesus Christ. And you'll get to minister your faith and what you believe in by your actions first, and not always preaching or trying to share it first, but how you act and what you do first.
What's the country, the people even though you're beating the crap out of their teams on the field, personally, and I think a lot of people do. Are you saving yourself for marriage?
Good. But yes, I love throwing versus one high speed post. Yes, I am.
Being a senior, what would you say?
I think y'all are stunned right now. Y'all can't even ask a question. Look at this. The first time ever. Wow. I was ready for the question. I don't think y'all were, though.